What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and the floodgates have opened. And any and everyone who has ever been in jail with Gypsy Rose, even if just for one day, they're all coming forward with stories to tell. And most of the stories have been negative stories. We haven't really heard from many people with anything good to say. I've already played for you all several clips from several different inmates claiming to have known Gypsy or have been in jail with Gypsy, and they basically say that Gypsy's kind of phony. But I like to be fair on my channel. Even though there's been nothing but negative, I have found one former inmate who said she had a positive experience with Gypsy. And she speaks very positively of Gypsy. And I want to roll that clip and allow you all to listen to what she has to say. And I want you all to form your own opinions. Now, me personally, as I was watching what she had to say, there were a few things that stuck out to me that were questionable. But for the most part, everything she was saying seemed about right until she got to the end. Towards the end, she states a couple of things that make me question, like, hey, do you really know what you're talking about? Or are you trying to, like, run cover for Gypsy and hope that she will donate you one drop of her clout? I don't know. You guys form your own opinion. I'm going to roll this clip. You let me know what you notice in the comment section as you watch. And then after this clip, I'll be right back with more thoughts of my own.
Work with me while we talk about Gypsy Rose. So, I was incarcerated from 2018 to 2022 at Chillicothe Correctional Center with Gypsy Rose. She was actually my roommate for a very short period of time, but I lived on the wing with her several times, off and on throughout the years. And every time I see something people post about her, I always feel like I'm going to make this video. But I never do, because I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to stay out of it. People have their strong feelings and opinions about her that don't even know her, which is really weird to me. But I was just listening to a podcast about her, and I'm going to say my opinion. I honestly have no idea why people feel so strongly about other people when they don't know them. But, you know, that's just life. People do. Everybody has their opinions. But, my opinion in my time knowing her, Gypsy is such a sweet girl. I know that she did what she did, and it was wrong, you know. I did what I did, and it was wrong. The difference between me and Gypsy was I was an adult, and I knew better. And I lived a normal life, and I knew that I didn't have to do what I did, and I did it anyway. Gypsy, her whole life, was in a very irrational environment. Nothing in her life was normal, ever, from a very young age. So I think that she definitely acted irrationally, but that's what she's seen her whole life. Gypsy said that she felt more freedom in prison than she had ever felt. I also feel like if this was an abused woman and she killed her husband because she felt like that was her only way out, we would make excuses. She's being berated, and it's just crazy how people literally hate her, have such strong feelings towards her because of what she did when she was a teenager. But I will say, she's very sweet and kind, and she would give anybody anything. She was very childlike in prison, but she also stood firm on what she believed, and she didn't let people push her around or bully her. Not saying that she was a bully by any means, but when she was being treated unfairly, she definitely spoke up on it. And I always liked that about her, because a lot of people didn't. She was always doing these crazy makeups, these anime. She was always a character and getting her pictures. She loved having her pictures taken. She took care of her skin. She, magazines. She loved magazines, and she loved learning like DIYs for, you know, such a girly girl. She was a lot of fun. She was always, her room was always like a lot of laughing and playing and dancing. And, you know, we didn't have like radios, but we did have headphones. And so, you know, you just see them like, if she was in the room with like younger people, she would be like having her headphones on and dancing and just really fun. She's super, super sweet. She really is. She didn't care what other people had. She didn't worry about, in prison, like, status is determined by how much canteen you have and how much clothes you have and, you know, all these things. The food, the meals that you would prepare and, you know, who you had in your clique, and she didn't care about that. What she did care about was makeup. She had a lot of makeup. She cared about crafts. She loved making things. And she cared about people, for real. Another thing that bothers me is Gypsy didn't ask for any of this. She did not ask for her case to be made famous, you know. She didn't ask for people to be following her around. She didn't ask for there to be a camera crew outside of the prison when she was let out. She didn't ask for any of that. She didn't ask to be judged every day. You know, she didn't. I do believe Gypsy learned her lesson. I believe that Gypsy was in a really bad place when she committed her crime. I believe that she did feel trapped. And I'm happy that she did her time. She sat down, learned her lesson, and I'm happy that she's out and thriving. It's crazy to see somebody that you lived with for so many years, that you ate next to, that you had so many conversations with, you sat on the phone line with them, sat on the phone with them, shared a room with them. You know, it's crazy to see them. You were just brushing your teeth with them, and then now they're on TV. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. Me and Anna talk about it all the time, how crazy it is to see her. Like, she's just Gypsy, you know. She's great, and I'm happy for her. And I wish her nothing but wonderful things. I love that she's experiencing life in such a beautiful way. I know that she has a lot of hard times, but she's strong enough for it. She really is. She can handle it. Also, one more thing I want to add, and then I really gotta get to work, is she did not do things for attention. She did not act out. She did not, there were a lot of people in there that did, and she didn't. She was not one of those people. She stayed out of trouble. She did what she was supposed to do. You know, she enjoyed the little luxuries that she got, so she stayed on incentive wings and did the right thing. She did what she was supposed to do. She did not act out. She was not in the middle of the day room screaming and hollering and yelling like a lot of people in there. She was not even, she stayed in her room for the most part. I'm telling you, she does not care about the attention. I know that she doesn't. And believe me or don't, I can only speak to her character, what I've seen.
Gypsy Rose being a sweet and nice person doesn't surprise me at all. Nowhere in my mind did I ever think that Gypsy was probably this mean-spirited person that just gave off this mean energy like a mean girl. You know, I never had that impression from Gypsy. I always figured she was probably a soft-spoken, sweet person that was probably easy to get along with. You know, but that does not change the fact that she's a manipulator. And most manipulators are likable, or at the very least, they're able to portray themselves in a way where they seem like they're not threatening, where you will let your guard down around them. So Gypsy's well trained in manipulating people into feeling comfortable around her or into feeling sorry for her, right? So hearing that she was a likable person and things like that, that doesn't surprise me one bit at all. I know some people might not like to hear it, but I'm not someone, you may watch my content and you may have your own opinions about what I think, but I can tell you what I think out my own mouth. And I don't think that she's like this horrible monster of a person that treats people horribly and, is just a bitch to everyone that she comes in contact with. I never thought that about her at all. But her being nice and sweet and likable doesn't change the fact that she is a master manipulator, like I said, and her behavior since getting out of jail has been disgusting. A lot of people, they look at this situation and they automatically assume that everyone is judging Gypsy because of her past. Now, of course, we have our own thoughts about Gypsy and her relationship with her mom, and of course, how that ended. We all have our opinions about that. But I think for the most part, most people, including myself, regardless of how we felt about her case, we were all kind of willing to give Gypsy a second chance. I think for the most part, we weren't hating Gypsy as soon as she got out of jail because of something that happened when she was younger. I think that for the most part, people were open-minded. Let's just say that. But when someone gets out of prison and automatically starts carrying themselves a certain way, they start trying to be a celebrity, they're doing all of this drama and gossip stuff with the tabloids, of course people are going to start thinking about it more and they're going to form an opinion. Now, unfortunately for Gypsy, the way she's been acting has made people hate her or dislike her. But most of these people felt, at the very least, indifferent towards her getting out of jail. So I think that's a common misconception, or I think sometimes people try to use that as an excuse. Like, y'all know that we don't hate Gypsy because of what happened with her mom. Y'all know that we just dislike this whole reality TV show star Gypsy that we've gotten since she got out of jail. And a lot of us are questioning why she's being treated like a celebrity. But speaking of celebrity, everything that woman had to say, who am I to tell her any differently? And like I said, I don't not believe that Gypsy is a nice, sweet person. But once she got to the point where she's like, Gypsy doesn't want attention, Gypsy didn't ask for this, that's when my eyes rolled to the back of my head. And that's when I really started questioning the motive of this entire TikTok video. Because for one, you could have filmed this TikTok video anywhere at any time, but you're doing it while you're packing up your product, getting it ready to ship out. So this is low-key an ad for whatever product you're selling. And you're probably kissing Gypsy's ass in hopes that she'll promote your product or, like I said earlier, donate you a crumb of that clout. Because no one in their right mind who has been paying attention can sit here and say, Gypsy didn't ask for this. Gypsy didn't want the cameras outside the jail when she got out. What? Those cameras were for Gypsy's reality show that she signed on to and is being paid very graciously to do. Gypsy is going to be a multimillionaire because Gypsy wanted the attention. She not only asked for the attention, she signed her name on the dotted line for the attention. And her little stepmama are out here selling photos of her to TMZ and all of these other outlets. Gypsy asked for the cameras and for the attention. So anyone that tries to say otherwise, automatically I kind of dismiss them. So I don't care if I knew Gypsy personally. I wasn't locked up with Gypsy like this woman was. But I also have common sense. And I can also see what's happening right in front of my face. So for this woman to pretend as if she knows better than the outside world, just because you may have been locked up with Gypsy a couple of years ago, that means nothing to me. Because for you to sit there and say, oh, well, she doesn't want the attention, she didn't ask for this. She literally did ask for this. She's being paid for all of this. None of this has come natural. This is all Gypsy creating drama, selling her own photos, selling rumors about herself to create a buzz around her name. And at first I felt like this woman was being sincere with everything she had to say. But, you know, once she got to that point, I was like, oh, well, I got to rethink everything now, because now I'm questioning, how close were you even really with Gypsy? And how she's like, yeah, you know, just not that long ago, we were brushing our teeth together. Now she's on TV. What, do you want to be on TV too? Is that why you're sitting here brown nosing right now? Is that why you're sitting here, you know, playing cleanup crew, trying to pretend as if, trying to gaslight people into thinking that Gypsy doesn't want attention? Like, what's with that? And another thing that I have to point out, and this doesn't necessarily just pertain to this woman we watched in this clip. This really goes for a lot of people, including a lot of these content creators on YouTube and TikTok and what have you. Do you guys not notice the amount of jump cuts in these people's videos? When I watch a video and I see 400 jump cuts within 5 minutes, it's hard for me to take that person seriously, because how sincere are you if you can't talk, if you cannot put 2 or 3 sentences together? Like, if you can't put 2 or 3 sentences together, then how can I believe what you have to say? How sincere are you really? Or, you know, I sometimes wonder, is this a problem that we're experiencing now? Is this something new to where people in the modern day, they don't know how to express themselves anymore? They have to express themselves through in like TikTok form, where you say, record, yeah, Gypsy was a real cool person when we were in jail. Stop. Record. And you know, we had good experiences. Stop. Record. It's like all of these jump cuts. How long does it take y'all to put one paragraph together? I don't get it. I sit down and make daily content. I don't have to stop and pause my recording every 30 seconds because I'm capable of expressing myself. But nowadays, people cannot say more than 2 sentences without a jump cut, without having to stop and think about what to say next. That's kind of scary to me. And at the end of the day, when I see stuff like that, it makes me feel like that person is not speaking from the heart. Because often when you speak from the heart, it just flows, baby. It flows like the river. But I wanted to be fair. We talk about Gypsy Rose often on this channel. We've seen several inmates speak out negatively about Gypsy. So knowing that there's someone out there speaking about Gypsy in a positive manner that was locked up with her, I wanted to be sure to show you all that as well. Because at the end of the day, I have my opinion, but you're free to form your own. But the way I see it, I believe everything this woman had to say. Never did I really think otherwise. Her mentioning that Gypsy acted like a child and stuff like that, that's stuff that I've been pointing out for a long time. So she gives me no reason not to believe most of what she said. But towards the end there, I'm really questioning the motive. Like, are you trying to get some clout? Are you hoping to get a shout out from Gypsy? Or are you just not really paying attention to what's happening here? Because it's insane to me for someone to say that Gypsy didn't want this or ask for this when she's signing book deals and signing deals to be on reality shows. And no one is forcing this girl to go on these talk shows and podcasts. But whatever. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.